Does your shoulder bother you both in rest and in motion, leaving you wondering how in earth to ease this discomfort? You are not alone in this, and I've decided, since the quite bunch of the shoulder clients has come through the clinic lately, let's create simple guide to the early stage rehabilitation of shoulder and also provide instructions how to train the shoulder in the long run. Rotator cuff syndrome is the most common disorder of the shoulder, and unfortunately the number of the cases increase with the age, with the prevalence of symptoms starting to rise after the age of 40. Symptoms are slightly more common in women compared to the men. As the shoulder joint is the body's most mobile joint, it's also very vulnerable to various disorders. Anatomically, the shoulder consists of 3 joints: actual shoulder joint, the scapula and clavicular joint, and the clavicle and sternum joint. The sternum joint is the only point where the entire shoulder girdle is receiving bony support, otherwise the entire package is supported by the muscles. There are also ligaments in the shoulder area, but their support alone is not enough to stabilize the joint. As an essential part of the support comes from the muscle, this is the usually place where the thing starts to go wrong. Typically, the damage or the inflammation occurs where the muscle supporting the shoulder, the rotator cuff tendons, attach to insert of the humerus. Over the years, the degeneration weakens the strength of the tendon and the healing of injury slows down slightly. However, it's important to remember that everyone experiences this aging process. And just like facial wrinkles or gray hair, signs of aging is not always the reason for pain in certain areas. Repeated lifting and overhead position contribute to tendon damage. Through these actions, minor change may occur into the tendon. And as inflammation increases, the tendon tissue swells and thickens, causing further constrictions in the already tight shoulder region. This kind of chain of the events is presented when there is no underlying injuries. Another scenario involves sudden strains, for example during the dog walking, or other sprains of you fall into the upper limb or the shoulder. When we start to experience pain in the shoulder area, often our muscles functions begins to change as a result of the pain. When the pain disrupts the shoulder function, external rotators may often be neglected, causing challenges in shoulder function. When external rotators are not able to work properly in shoulder joint angles, then the upper arm can't be well positioned in the socket against the joint. And in these cases, the shoulder joint constrictions should be such a big problem. So how do we get started? The function of the external rotator need to be checked in the lower position. So place your elbow right next to your body and then start externally rotating your shoulder. It's important here that the amount of the rotation increases and when the movement becomes more difficult. By increasing the amount of the rotation of the body towards the wall can change also the difficulty of this movement. The goal is that when your back is against the wall, your affected arm can still rotate upper arm sufficiently backwards so your knuckles will going to touch the wall. Sometimes when testing the movement with the client in the clinic, their movement is easier when you guide them to pull the shoulder blade back and down. This way the teres minor, the small muscle supporting the shoulder, and the latissimus dorsi, wide back muscle, comes to aid the shoulder movement. Through the activity of this muscle, the shoulder position gets better, allowing the muscle to function better. Sometimes I might tape the shoulder blade with kinesio tape, slightly improved position, making it easier for the client to grasp the essence of the shoulder exercise. Now that the shoulder is better positioned and external rotators are activating, then you should start performing larger shoulder abduction and ensure that the external rotators also function in other joint angles. Here it's important to perform external rotation so that the shoulder abduction and sufficient external rotations are present and no intense pain occurs during these exercises. As the angle rises during the exercise, gradually approaching the 90 degrees angle as the exercises progress, here it's always a matter of playing according to either body rotation or shoulder abduction. Each individual story may be slightly different, but the end result should be the same for everyone. 90-degree shoulder abduction, sufficient external rotation so that the knuckle touches the wall and shoulder pain should stay away in this position. So what's next from here? External rotators need to be kept in play when starting to perform shoulder presses. For example, in these exercises, the elbow and the knuckles constantly remains against the wall. If the knuckles stray from the wall, then the external rotators are unable to work properly, and then the forearm is not in line vertically, and then the challenges may arise. If this doesn't help, then the likely bottleneck may be extremely stiff structures of the thoracic spine. For help for that, check the video of the social media neck or thoracic spine mobility exercises, which can be found in here. See you at the next one.